Hi, what's going on, guys? I hope you're all doing well today. In this video, I'll guide you through creating your own auto jailbreak dongle for the PS4 using the versatile ESP32 S2 Mini microcontroller. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or a beginner, this step-by-step tutorial will make the process straightforward and easy to follow. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Among the various PS4 versions that can be jailbroken, we can categorize them into three main methods based on how the GoldHen payload is activated. First, there's the method of activating the GoldHen payload using only the PS4 browser. This approach is used for PS4s running firmware versions 5.05 to 7.55. Second, there's the method of activating GoldHen using both the PS4 browser and a jailbreak USB flash drive. This method is used on PS4s with firmware version 9.0. Lastly, there's the method of activating GoldHen with the help of a computer, an STB, or even a Linux-based micro-development board like the LuckFox Pico. This method is applied to PS4s running firmware versions 7.00 through 11.00. Now, specifically for PS4s on firmware 9.00, which previously relied on a jailbreak USB flash drive, requiring you to plug and unplug it during the GoldHen activation process over time. This USB flash drive has been replaced with the ESP32 S2 Mini microcontroller. Unlike the USB flash drive with the ESP32, there's no need to keep plugging and unplugging it. You simply plug it in, and that's it. Its price is also very affordable, costing no more than $3. Alright, now let's move on to the setup stage. First, we'll flash the ESP32 with a pre-programmed binary file, allowing it to function as a web server, an access point, and even a jailbreak USB flash drive. This means there's no need to set up the program from scratch, as the program has already been created for us. All we need to do is flash it onto the ESP32. There are several pre-configured binary files available that we can use, such as those by Chameleon, PRB Lethal, or the original version by Stooged. For this tutorial, I'll be using the PRB Lethal binary file. I chose this one because its user interface on the exploit host page is quite appealing, resembling the PS5 home screen. We'll take a look at it shortly. To flash the ESP32, we need a flashing application and the binary file itself. For the flasher application, we'll use Node MCU PyFlasher. First, download it. Here, I'm already on its GitHub page. Download the version that matches your computer's operating system. If you're using Windows, download this one. Note for Windows users: if the application doesn't run, you'll need to download another version from the top of the page and try again. I'm downloading the one at the top since the lower version didn't work on my computer. Next, for the binary file, we'll use version 3, which is the latest version at the time this video is being made. All the files required for this tutorial can be found in the description below. Now that both files are ready, we'll flash the binary file to the ESP32. To do this, first connect the ESP32 to your computer using a USB Type-C cable. Activate flash mode on the ESP32 by pressing and holding the boot button. Then, while holding the boot button, press the reset button. To identify the buttons correctly, the reset button is labeled RST. Any other button is the boot button. So, press and hold the boot button first, then press reset while still holding boot. If done correctly, you'll hear a notification sound on your computer, indicating that flash mode has been successfully activated on the ESP32. Next, open the Node MCU PyFlasher application. For the serial port option, check your device manager to find the correct port. Look under Ports, COM, and LPT for a USB serial device. Here, I can see that the USB serial device is on COM 5, but it might be different on your computer. Select the correct port in the serial port field. In my case, I'll choose COM 5. In the Node MCU firmware section, click Browse and select the binary file you downloaded earlier. Set the baud rate to 115,200. Set the flash mode to Dual I/O. Under Erase Flash, select Yes, wipe all data. Finally, click Flash Node MCU to start the flashing process. Wait until the process is complete. Once it's done, we're ready to move to the next step. The next step is to cache the exploit host page in the PS4 web browser. For this, we'll switch to the PS4. Alright, now we're on the PS4. First, let me show you the firmware version of my PS4. As you can see here, the firmware version is 9.00. Since the caching process for the exploit host requires an internet connection, we'll connect the PS4 to the internet first. Alright, the PS4 is now connected to the internet. If you see an update notification like this, go to the notifications menu and delete it right away. Done. Now, let's proceed with the caching process. Open the PS4 browser. It's important to note that caching the exploit host is only done once. The purpose here is to store the exploit host locally in the PS4 browser, so we won't need to connect the PS4 to the internet every time we access the exploit host page. Before we start, let's clear the browser data, including history, cookies, and website data. Done. Next, open the exploit host page provided by PS5 using the following URL. Once entered, select Go to start the caching process. Wait until the caching process is complete. Alright, it's done. Now exit the browser by pressing the PS button on your controller. Next, plug the ESP32 into the PS4. Wait a moment, then connect the PS4 to the ESP32's SSID, named PS5. The password for the network is 123456778. Since my PS4 has previously connected to the ESP32, it won't ask for the password again. Now, the PS4 is connected to the ESP32's local network. We're ready to test the jailbreak and activate the GoldHen payload using the ESP32. First, let me show you that the game is still locked. Now, let's activate the GoldHen payload. Open the PS4 browser and wait for the jailbreak process to run. Alright, the jailbreak was successful. Next, select the GoldHen menu to activate the GoldHen payload. Done. The GoldHen payload has been successfully activated. Let's try running the game. And there you go. It works perfectly. There's one more important thing we need to do. Enable sleep mode on the ESP32. By default, the ESP's sleep mode is disabled. It's important to note that the ESP will remain active as long as the PS4 is powered on, even though it's no longer needed after GoldHen is activated. Since the ESP32 heats up quickly when active, enabling sleep mode helps extend its lifespan. Here's how to enable sleep mode on the ESP32. Open the exploit host page again in the PS4 browser. Navigate to the right and select the ESP settings menu. Check the box labeled Enable Sleep and change the timer from 20 minutes to 5 minutes for quicker activation. This means the ESP will enter sleep mode 5 minutes after being powered on. In this settings page, you can also change the password for the SSID PS5 if desired. Once done, don't forget to click Save Settings. That's it. All the steps are now complete, and the ESP32 S2 Mini is ready to be used as a dongle to activate the GoldHen payload. Lastly, let's explore the available menus on the exploit host. For example, you can choose an older version of the GoldHen payload by pressing R1 here. As you can see, there are multiple versions of GoldHen to select from. Additionally, the exploit host also includes several other payloads that you can explore, as well as a variety of mods for games like GTA and RDR2. And that wraps up the tutorial on setting up the ESP32 S2 Mini microcontroller as a GoldHen payload activation dongle, specifically for PS4 firmware 9.0. As always, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Thank you for stopping by this channel, and I'll see you again in the next video.